Everything began when I enrolled in college. I started to dress nicely. I started wearing nice trousers and, of course, nice shirts. These shirts presented a huge challenge. Anytime I would bend, stretch, or sit down, my shirt would get untucked. This bothered me so much that I went online and conducted a research of the existing solutions to my problem. I couldn't find any product I liked, so I decided to design my own shirt holder. How did I tackle the challenge? I went to the store, bought the material, elastics, and clips, and started the design process. I knew from the outset I wanted the shirt holder to be placed around ties, have elastics on the sides, and be attached to the shirt. Perhaps my greatest challenge at this stage was having to do everything on my own. For instance, I had to come up with the sizes of the product. I thus performed a series of tests in which I used several prototypes of different sizes. First, on my ties. I was looking for the size that would be both comfortable and perform its task of holding the shirt neatly tucked in. When I arrived at the appropriate size, I connected with seamstresses who put their final touch of perfection, and the first real tea holder was born, ready to be launched to the market. If I, a student from a small country like Slovenia and someone who wore shirts only occasionally, was bothered by this issue so much, I was certain that people who need to be formally dressed for work every day, for instance lawyers, bankers, managers, were even more annoyed with having to constantly retuck their shirts throughout the day. This made me even more convinced in the tremendous potential of my idea. Once I had designed the product, tested it on myself, saw it worked, and had the seamstresses perfected, the only thing left to do was selling the product. At the same time, Kickstarter was extremely popular in Slovenia. There were several successful projects presented on this platform, so I decided to aim for Kickstarter too. I saw it as an opportunity to obtain some startup capital, which I could then invest into the company, including marketing and so on. I connected with a professional who later became my informal mentor, Nik Vene, one of the first and most successful people from Slovenia on Kickstarter. I showed him the product, which he liked a lot. He advised me to improve the product and encouraged me to start preparing the Kickstarter campaign. And that was exactly what we did, even though I was still a student with a very limited budget. I invested several months into preparations of the campaign for Kickstarter. In the meanwhile, I also launched the Instagram and Facebook profiles for NV holders, started to post pictures, and began building a small community of supporters. Once everything was ready, I sent the materials to Kickstarter for review in order to see whether they are in compliance with the Kickstarter rules. This process usually takes 2 to 3 days, but I couldn't wait that long. I was so excited. I started announcing to everyone on how we were going to be on Kickstarter, asking people to support us, only to find out after a couple of days that our campaign would not be launched due to its incompliance with the rules of the platform. I immediately went through all the rules again, but could not find the part that wasn't in accordance with the rules. We therefore sent a rebuttal and got rejected the second time. We then had to choose an alternative option. That's how we found the Indiegogo platform, a platform similar to Kickstarter. Unfortunately, our Indiegogo campaign was also unsuccessful. We aimed to raise $5,000, but only got about $160. This was when I started wondering if my idea was a good idea at all, and began questioning why I decided to pursue it in the first place. That was when, luckily, Seoul, an online news platform, published an article a young entrepreneur started making shirt holders, which created a demand on the Slovenian market. I thought this was fantastic. Although very small, the first sales rolled in. We were selling a few products per month, which was very motivating for me as a student. I was selling my own product and making additional income. The process was somehow interrupted by my study exchange. I went to spend a year in Nice, France. Being in Nice, seeing the luxurious cars in the streets, meeting successful people, and experiencing a different lifestyle further motivated me to make something out of myself. I said to myself, I have everything prepared already. I have a product. I only need to start selling it. Perhaps someday I'm going to be like one of these people.